you, and good morning. Yeah, indeed, as Jan says, it seems like I'm always pregnant when I'm pitching at Eco Summit. This is my third one, so now I know that when I'm pregnant I can get a little out of breath, but yeah, bear with me. Today I want to talk to you about securing grid connections in the age of AI. But first I want to take you back 20 years, to the time when Set Ventures was being founded and I was traveling the world. I've always been fascinated by climate change, and I've always loved adventure. So naturally, I combined the two. I did microfinance interviews in the middle of the jungle of Nicaragua. I worked in Chile, where I hitchhiked through the Andes Mountains. And I did my thesis on climate change in the Himalayas, where I got lost in the south of India in the middle of a monsoon. So to me, adventure is about setting a goal of where you want to go. But the road is always a surprise. And when you leave room for the unknown, that's when you have to improvise. You may face some challenges, but that's also where you get unexpected gifts. And those are often the most valuable. So, when my life began to settle down 10 years ago, I shifted that same sense of adventure to joining Set Ventures, from traveling to joining Set Ventures. And instead, we don't wait for opportunities to come to us, but we actively dive in. So we look for startups and we go on a journey with them. The vision is clear, but the road is always more bumpy, particularly in the energy sector, as you may all know. So sometimes, indeed, we have to face challenges together, we have to adapt the strategy, we have to share knowledge with each other, and what follows is a lot of energy and impact. And to me, that is really inspiring. So at Set Ventures, we have invested in a lot of transformative companies over the years. And we've also realized many notable strategic exits in Europe. And because we're purely focused on energy, we know that we're not in an energy transition at the moment. But this is a paradigm shift. We're in a massive industrial transformation towards the new digital energy economy, where everything is going to be hyper-local, fully automated, and resilient. So we are looking for startups, the diamonds in the rough, that are going to drive this transformation forward. And we know that we're not going to find those companies sitting behind our desk, but we actively have to explore and travel and dive into new territories. And recently we have done so in one particularly exciting territory, which is C&I batteries, which is a very hot topic at the moment. So we are going to be publishing our report on C&I batteries in the coming weeks, and today I can give you a little sneak peek of this. So industrial electrification and AI demand are currently capturing a large share of the grid's capacity. And speed to power is becoming critical for those players. Industrials need to secure a bigger grid connection today to enable their future electrification needs. And this is because grid waiting timelines are already several years in most of Europe, and it's only getting worse. And the mechanism is, in most countries, is quickly changing. It's shifting from first arrived to first ready. And that means that projects are now being favored that are already fully permitted, actively utilized, and ideally also flexible. So for these industrials, batteries are a great solution, and especially because batteries, the price of batteries has been coming down dramatically over the last decade. And the revenues of batteries have gone up as a result of the increasing energy volatility because of renewables. And this is only deepening now with the war in Iran. So only in March, battery revenues have almost doubled because of the higher fossil fuel prices. And because of these two factors, the infrastructure financing terms are now much more attractive for batteries. And we see that the grid waiting lines for C&I batteries are way shorter than for large utility scale batteries. So let's take a look at the startup landscape of C&I batteries, which I think is the most interesting of all. So these are some of the most fascinating startups and scale-ups that we have recently spoken to in this market. Yeah, I see many people taking a picture, so I'm going to the side so I'm not on it. Yeah, wow, so many cameras. This will all be in the report, and we're probably going to add some more names. So please keep an eye on that for in the coming weeks. So this is how we've segmented the startups, and we developed a thesis on each of these segments. So in EMS and in optimization, we have already invested in Tibo Energy and in S4in. And in the other segments, we are still looking for our next investment. And we are particularly very interested in the battery developers at the moment, also because of these attractive financing terms at the moment. So these are the light gray areas in the bottom. So for these C&I battery developers, we've developed 6 criteria that an ideal startup should meet. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of them, but if you want, you can again take a picture, but they will also be in the report in much more detail. Again, I see a lot of cameras, great. But the most exciting news about this slide is actually that we have been able to find a startup that ticks all of these boxes, and we hope to close the investment with them very soon. So in the coming weeks, please keep an eye out for the announcement of this new investment, a C&I battery developer, as well as for our new C&I market report we're going to be publishing on our LinkedIn in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And for all the other diamonds waiting out there to be discovered by us, just like I was able to find this very rare bird in the jungle of Panama 20 years ago, we will find you. Thank you.